Hey, sports fans, welcome back to Tiny Tips on Public Speaking. I'm Jane. Okay, today let's talk about the ummers. What do you do when you get the ummers in your speech? This is that moment when you're in your speech and you start umming and awing or umming and erring. Now, that's a really hard problem to solve because it's a very powerful mechanism in your brain. It usually happens when people are really nervous and it's really hard to stop. Well, there's an author that I really like named Ben Horowitz. The link's in the well below if you're interested. He wrote a book called The Hard Thing About Hard Things. And one of his main ideas is that there aren't any silver bullets to problems usually. There's just a whole bunch of lead bullets. And for this tiny hard thing, I mean, I admit it's not a huge thing, but it's a tiny hard thing. I think there's only lead bullets to this problem. I'm here today to bring you one of those. Now, if you notice, when people start doing that, when they start umming and erring, if you're in the audience, they're not generally looking at you. This is one big thing they do. They look down like this. I mean, I'm even guilty of this occasionally. If you go back through my videos, I'm sure you can find those moments where you look down and you just and the head will go from side to side, or people will look over this way and they'll go. Either way, they're never making eye contact. They're almost always lost their train of thought and they're trying to collect their thoughts while they're doing it, or they look down at their notes and they just don't see where they were in their notes, and while they get themselves together, they're eyeing and awing. So the problem with this is that you basically, it's a courage issue. You've lost the courage to engage your audience because you just don't have anything to say to them immediately. That's the big issue here. So what you need to do, that lead bullet solution, is get the courage to look at us, look at your audience, talk to us. Even if you don't know exactly what you're going to say next, your brain is trying to create ways to keep that connection, and that's why it's doing that. I don't know if when people are looking, when you're looking directly at someone, you have no need to do that. There's no way to do it. The connection is there, right? So maintain that connection by looking at them. The next problem you have, obviously, is what do I say, right? I've lost my train of thought, so what do I say? And that's where the hard part comes in. That's the hard thing about this hard thing is, there aren't any real easy solutions, but the first thing you need to do to get rid of that humming is engage. Look at your audience. The other thing you can do is, understand that these people are your friends. You're not going to get anywhere by thinking your audience is your enemy. Even if you're in a big auditorium with a whole bunch of strangers, all these people are just like you. If they were up in front, they would have a lot of these nerves, these issues. And when people are sitting in that audience, they really want you to do well. I mean, there's a lot of collective empathy in a public for the speaker. So think that, remember that. Remember those people are there, they're rooting for you, they want you to do well, and have the courage to share with them and engage with them. You can even tell them, look, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. That takes a lot. You got to expose yourself a little bit, but that's when an audience will open up to you when you open up to it a little bit. So one of the first steps you can take to cure that umming problem is to look at the audience. Then we'll talk about some techniques in later episodes for trying to get back on track or trying to find your place. But that first thing you want to do is maintain that eye contact. I hope you found this helpful. I look forward to seeing you next time in Tiny Tips on Public Speaking. Bye, guys. I gotta do something about my cat. These noises are coming from my cat, and I don't want to cut this episode again. So I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope my cat wasn't too distracting. He was pushing shampoo bottles out of my shower. See you next time.